Good morning. I am Dr. Indrani Das Sharma from Department of Applied Chemistry, Jhulelal Institute of Technology, India, and I would be giving the presentation on comparison of various nuclear fusion reactions and intermediate controlled nuclear fusion. At the outset, I would like to acknowledge the motivation and the support for presenting this work at International Teleconference on Einstein's argument that quantum mechanics is not a complete theory from the R.M. Santilli Foundation, Palm Harbor, Florida. I'm also grateful for the constant encouragement and valuable guidance in preparing this presentation by Professor R.M. Santilli himself, Professor R. Anderson, Professor Bhalekar, and Professor Muktibodh. I am also grateful to Professor D.V. Parvate for enhancing interest in conventional nuclear chemistry. This is the flow of the lecture. The flow of the lecture would be introduction followed by modern scenario of nuclear energy, hadronic energy of nuclear type, conventional fusion reactions, and advantage of ICNF over other fusion reactions, and then we'll conclude the lecture. Quantum mechanics was conceived for the study of particular interaction at large mutual distances that could be represented with differential equations defined over a finite set of isolated points. Quantum mechanics has no doubt revolutionized the science tremendously. However, it has certain shortcomings too. For example, as it is based on Galilei and Poincare symmetries, hence this is not applicable. Hence, this is only applicable for Keplerian systems. Secondly, its Hamiltonian nature restricts the understanding of nuclear forces. It is unable to explain structure-related problems due to expected nonlinear, non-local, and non-Hamiltonian effects occurring within the hyperdense media as inside the hadrons. Hence, the need of a covering of quantum mechanics is essential. Now, as shown in this figure, we find that Newtonian mechanics, it is applicable for macroscopic bodies in motion, whereas quantum mechanics, it is applicable at atomic level distances and structures. It particularly deals with the distance range of 10 to the power minus 8 to 10 to the power minus 13 centimeters only. Whereas when we talk about particle at a distance within 1 femtometer, that is less than 10 to the power minus 13 centimeter, in that case quantum mechanics is unable to explain certain properties and hence the need of hadronic mechanics. Professor R.M. Santilli has founded more fundamental theory of the universe named after the composite nuclear particles as hadronic mechanics. In modern times, the most important aspect is energy, and that too, the modern day requires clean and green energy in view of the global warming scenario and the climate change. The renewable energy like solar energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy, and wind energy, they are of utmost importance as they are truly green and do not have much impact on the environment in form of carbon emission. The carbon footprint of these type of energy is comparatively less as compared to the conventional thermal energy source. But the major problem with these type of energy is that these are dependent on the geographical location as well as on time. Hence, the most consistent source of energy as of today is the nuclear energy. Nucleus is known to be the consistent and unlimited source of energy. However, conventional method of harnessing nuclear energy is by inducing either nuclear fission or fusion. But nuclear fission requires heavily shielded nuclear reactors. The fission reaction generates large amount of radioactive wastes which are hazardous and risks the ecosystem and the life. Harnessing energy through nuclear fusion reaction has been the holy grail, but requires high degree of engineering precision. Hot nuclear fusion requires high temperature of billions of degrees of Celsius, which is available in core of stars and hence is quite a energy intensive process and not economical. On the other hand, lower energy nuclear fusion or cold fusion as reported by Fleischmann and his group are found to be non-reproducible. Thus, both cold as well as hot fusion have failed to be self-sustaining, paving the way for new type of nuclear energy, that is hadronic fuel. Hadronic nuclear energy can be classified as shown in the figure into two major classes like ICNF, that is intermediate control nuclear fusion, and particle type energy. Intermediate control nuclear fusion can be of two types, that is one conventional ICNF and the other is the hyperfusion. Particle type energy can be further classified as stimulated neutron decay and double beta decay. In this presentation, we would be concentrating on ICNF as well as hyperfusion only. The new interactions at the foundation of hadronic mechanics originates from mutual contact and penetration of the wave packets of particles at short distances that are non-Hamiltonian as they are nonlinear, non-local and non-potential. This requires a non-unitary lifting of quantum mechanics. The basic assumptions proposed by Professor Santilli are: the first one is the nuclear force, which can be partly represented with a Hamiltonian and partly it is of non-potential type and hence cannot be represented with a Hamiltonian. Secondly is a stable nuclei. This is the figure which is used by Professor Santilli to illustrate that nuclei have no nuclei of their own and are composed of particles in contact with each other having mutual penetration of about 10 to the power minus 3 of the charge distribution. So, the nuclear force is expected to be partially of potential and partially of non-potential type, having non-unitary character. Unstable nuclei and nuclear fusion. In case of Heisenberg-Santelli-Lee admissible equation as shown over here, H represents non-conserved total energy. R and S are the genotopic elements that represent non-potential interaction. So, irreversibility is assured. Lee admissible branch of hadronic mechanics is ideally suited to represent the decay of unstable nuclei and nuclear fusion, since both are irreversible over time. Neutron synthesis is assumed as originally conjectured by Rutherford to be a compressed hydrogen. This is the equation which represents the formation of neutron, where A is Santilli's etherino, which is a conventional Hilbert space. Dornborg's experiment and Santilli's hadronic mechanics appropriately explains Rutherford's conjecture on neutron as a compressed hydrogen. This is the original drawing used by Santilli to illustrate the physical difference between the hydrogen atom and a neutron, that is synthesized from a proton and an electron as occurring in stars. The main interaction that is absent in hydrogen atom but is present in neutron is the non-linear, non-local and non-potential interactions due to deep overlap of the extended particle. This is an illustration supporting the research on new clean energies which require suitable covering of the 20th century doctrines. The Rutherford-Santelli neutron is at the foundation of the possible stimulated decay as well as related new clean energies. The nuclear structure, as understood by hadronic mechanics, is that the proton is the only stable particle and neutron is unstable, comprising of proton as well as electron. Professor Santelli assumed that nuclei are collections of protons and neutrons in the first approximation, while at a deeper level a collection of mutated protons as well as electrons. In ICNF, fusion rate is controllable via one or more mechanisms capable of performing the engineering optimization of the applicable laws. This is governed by Santelli's law for controlled nuclear fusions. In this case, as shown in the figure, the orbitals of the peripheral atomic electrons are controlled such that nuclei are systematically exposed. Secondly, the controlled nuclear fusion occurs when the nuclei spins are either in singlet planar coupling or triplet axial coupling. The most probable are those occurring at threshold energies and without release of massive particles. CNF requires, importantly, trigger, which is an external mechanism that forces the exposed nuclei to come in a femtometer range. As shown in the figure, the magnecules are a precursor to ICNF. This is the magnecular bond between four hydrogen atoms, whereas this figure B, it shows magnecular bond between two hydrogen molecules. ICNF, as proposed by Professor Santilli, the generic equation is given over here, where A represents the atomic number, Z is the nuclear charge, J is the nuclear angular momentum with the parity, and U represents the nuclear energy in AMU units. N1 and N2 are the reacting nuclei. TR represents the trigger mechanism, which could be a high voltage DC arc as in case of hadronic reactor. N3 represents the daughter nuclei which is formed, and in this type of equation we find that there are no neutron is generated and the energy emitted is in form of heat only. The unit of conversion is the conventional one, where 1 U stands for 931.49 mega electron volt. These are the various units of conversion which is given over here, and the energy used by a 50 kilowatt hour hadronic reactor, it is approximately given as 1.69 into 10 to the power 5 BTU. Considering a typical case of synthesis of nitrogen from carbon and deuterium by ICNF, this type of reaction is expected in nature due to lightning, and this can be seen with the consistently increasing of the nitrogen concentration in the atmosphere uh, over billions of years. Here, carbon reacts with deuterium to form nitrogen and heat. The energy emitted is of around 10.4 MeV. The threshold energy is supplied, which is just sufficient to expose the atomic nuclei from within the electron cloud. As the energy is not very high, the resulting compound nucleus has excitation energy lesser than that required for gamma emission. This type of reaction is carried out in a sealed tank that is known as hadronic reactors. This synthesis is of industrial importance because it yields about 10 to the power 10 BTU of energy per hour. That is almost equal to 10 to the power 30 ICNF per hour. This is a schematic representation of hadronic reactor based on upgradation of the hadronic refineries, which is used to produce magnecules. In this case, we are having the two anode. Within this space, a DC arc is generated, and this is used to prepare, or this is used to make the magnecules, which is used as a precursor for the ICNF. The electric arc in the hadronic reactor polarizes carbon and hydrogen atoms by forming C cross H magnecule having triplet axial spin coupling. Under suitable trigger, the magnecule C cross H yields a nucleus with A equal to 14, Z 8 and J equal to 1 plus. However, this type of nucleus does not exist. So, according to Professor Santilli, the nature synthesizes a neutron from proton, electron and a etherino as given in this equation, and which ultimately forms the nitrogen nucleus. The fusion reaction taking place in hadronic reactor using deuterium as a fuel have shown to yield clean energy without formation of any radioactive species or ionizing radiation. There are various examples of ICNF. We'll be seeing some few examples like oxygen plus carbon forming silica or silicon along with energy of 0.0254 U. This reaction verifies all the conservation laws. The whitish powder formed on the edge of the carbon electrode suggests synthesis of silica. The controlled fusion of oxygen and carbon into silica was done because carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas, is a hadronic fuel for production of clean energy. The hadronic reactor can be filled up with carbon dioxide at a certain pressure, and the DC arc efficiently separates it into oxygen and carbon. The oxygen and carbon burns to produce CO, that in the presence of oxygen and an arc reproduces CO2, thus recovering the energy used for the separation of carbon dioxide. However, along with the conventional combustion, the hadronic reactor has a positive energy output due to fusion of oxygen and carbon into silicon. These are the SEM EDS pictures, which shows semi-quantitative chemical compositions that were obtained using an AMRE scanning electron microscope equipped with IXRF energy dispersive spectrometer by Constellation Technology in the year 2013. The elements which were detected were aluminium, silicon, calcium, chlorine, and iron. In continuation with the last reaction, we can define a new term, that is hypercombustion. Hypercombustion is actually complete combustion of magnecular fuels obtained from commercially available fossil fuels followed by fusion. The patent of this work is still pending. Thus, in short, we can show that hypercombustion is nothing but it is the summation of magnecular combustion and controlled nuclear fusion. The various steps involved over here is, the first is the ignition of the fossil fuel with a series of rapid DC discharges which has energy of at least 100 joules. These are known as the hypersparks. Converting the conventional fossil fuels like gasoline, petrol, diesel from their natural molecular state to magnecular state. And thirdly, enhancing the combustion temperature, where the magnecular conversion and the energy output increases due to fusion occurring between the carbon 12 and oxygen 16 into silicon 28. Thus, some of the advantages of hypercombustion are complete combustion of fossil fuels, significant reduction of carbon dioxide, ICNF does not release any radioactive contaminants. Lastly, the higher energy output compared to their current combustion with the same energy output. In hyperfusion, here the fusion is brought about by overcoming the Coulombic repulsion. As shown in the figure, these are the nuclei, which is unmodified and natural nuclei. Both are positive in charge, and hence when they are brought together, there will be an inherent Coulombic repulsion, and thus they don't come near each other in a femtometer range, which is required for a fusion reaction to occur. In this case, if one of the nuclei is converted into or it is converted to a negatively charged, then the amount of repulsion would be converted into amount of the attraction, and hence the nuclear can easily approach each other in a distance of around 1 femtometer, and hence fusion will be inevitable. So this is the concept of hyperfusion as against ICNF, where we were talking about the magnetic moment, and magnetically the nuclei were bound to each other, whereas in this case the binding is because of the electrical charge of the nucleus itself, and hence this gives a idea that this would be more feasible as compared to ICNF. So this is the figure which shows intermediate state prior to a full synthesis of pseudoproton introduced by Professor Santilli for the first time under the name pseudoprotoid, which is given by a bound state in singlet coupling of an electron and a neutron under strongly attractive contact interaction of isomechanics. Figure shows synthesis of negatively charged nucleon, that is Santilli's pseudoproton via Rutherford's compression of an electron within the hyperdense neutron. This extra electron, it gives the proton a negative charge. Thus, hyperfusions are actually fusions of natural positively charged nuclei and synthesized negatively charged nuclei. For example, in this equation, we see that a pseudo-deuteron, that is the negatively charged deuteron, and a natural deuteron, they combine together to form a helium nucleus, along with emission of 2 electrons. The singlet coupling is achieved as the pseudo-deuteron has not only the charge but also the magnetic moment opposite to that of the natural deuteron. The energy released by hyperfusion is 3.81 into 10 to the power minus 12 joules. It is estimated that 10 to the power 18 controlled fusions per hour would yield significant release of about 10 to the power 6 joules of clean energy per hour without harmful waste. Now, in this reaction, we also see that the waste which is generated is 2 electron. This electron can be easily captured and it does not contribute to the radioactivity in the environment. Comparing various other fusion methods, let us first see the low energy nuclear fusion or cold fusion. This was reported by Fleischmann, Pons and Hawkins in the year 1989, and the major drawback of this method was the non-reproducibility by the other laboratories. There were various reasons which could lead or which led to this non-reproducibility. One could be due to the insufficient energy required to expose the atomic nuclei from within the covering of the atomic electron cloud. Secondly, it may be that there was difficulty in obtaining the required triggering mechanism within the lattice of the metal crystal structure. Next is the high energy nuclear fusion or the hot fusion, where it is supposed to mimic the conditions taking place in the core of stars. This is reported by various laboratories. The major drawback of this is that it is not self-sustaining and compound nucleus undergoes fission, leading to formation of radioactive wastes. The reason behind this is the atomic energy clouds are completely stripped off. The kinetic energy of the nuclei are increased to overcome the Coulombic barrier, and the energy attained by the compound nucleus is generally higher than the fission barrier, which results in fission reaction or nuclear decay as the prominent exit channel. This is the equipment which Professor Santilli used for synthesis of nitrogen from carbon and deuterium. The advantages of hadronic nuclear energy are immense. The ICNF or the hyperfusion, they show aneutronicity. Aneutronic fusion is a nuclear fusion reaction without formation of neutrons. The majority of the energy released is in form of charged particles. The charged particles may range from electron to proton to alpha particles, and these can be easily handled and can be directly used to convert to electricity. The neutrons, they possess a problem because they give rise to ionizing damage, they can give rise to neutron activation, and requires heavy shielding, biological shielding, as well as remote handling and safety. All these things are nullified if neutron itself is not formed in the reaction. Secondly, it can be hybridized with conventional molecular combustion. Like ICNF can be amalgamated with conventional molecular combustion by using engineering innovations like hypercombustion, as we have discussed. Professor Santilli have also innovated and prepared hyper furnaces, which is advanced version of hadronic reactors. This would dramatically decrease the environmental impact as the combustion would be more complete. Global warming, which is problematic due to hydrocarbons formed on incomplete combustion of the fossil fuel. Also, the amount of CO2 generated per unit energy output would be less. Moreover, magnicular combustion by itself is known to have better energy output as compared to conventional molecular combustion. Thirdly, the economical and the reproducibility of these type of fusion reactions are much better than that obtained by conventional hot fusion or the cold fusion. Thus, we can conclude that ICNF and hyperfusions are more promising than hot or cold fusion in terms of reproducibility and energy input to output ratio. The successful achievement of ICNF with industrial relevance depends on the proper selection of the hadronic fuel. The original and the final nuclides are light, natural and stable isotope. The nuclear fusion causes no emission of ionizing radiation, and the energy produced is much higher than the total energy used by the equipment for its production. ICNF relies on magnetic property of the precursors, whereas hyperfusion relies on the overcoming the Coulombic barrier by the opposite electrical charge. Thus, production of negatively charged nuclei holds promising application in other fields as well, like medicines, etc. Thus, it can be concluded that hadronic nuclear energy, whether it is ICNF or hyperfusion, is truly promising and holds a greater industrial applications. I thank RM Santilli Foundation, Professor Santilli and his complete team for giving an opportunity to present this work. Thank you one and thank you all.